officially underway. Give us your thoughts on what you saw up in Baylor and what you guys are doing to prepare for this weekend.
Yeah, obviously, not the result that we wanted. Playing against a really good team, really well coached team, national championship winning coach, and a team full of really talented players are going to play. A few of them are going to play in the NBA, no doubt. I think our guys. I thought we fought and we did a lot of good things, especially more so on the offensive end of the floor, but clearly a lot of things to clean up defensively and on the glass. So, we really didn't win those battles that's necessary to beat a team like that on their home floor. We have to kind of win and dominate those margins, and we didn't do so. So moving forward, that's going to be a huge point of emphasis for us and something that we have to clean up.
Coach, second year in the Southland Conference for y'all. What did y'all learn from your first year, and what are y'all hoping to, do and work and get better for this season?
Yeah, last year's conference slate didn't go as planned for us. We did some really good things in the non-conference and won the MTE out in Greenbrier in West Virginia, and had some good performances against some good Division I opponents. And then whether it's roster or injuries or whatever, we ran into some issues with our focus, with our mental toughness down the stretch and during the course of the conference. So our ability to kind of really stay the course and remain us and remain really, really strong mentally and have some grit, have some resilience, win some more games on the road. I think that's going to really drive this team forward, and I think we have the capability of doing that. We've shown that during the offseason, and our ability to kind of overcome adversity and hard things and travel and good players and good teams. I think that'll really carry the day for us.
Y'all are going up against Southern Utah this weekend. Kind of what can we expect to see from y'all, to get that win on Saturday?
I don't know if you could expect it from us, but for us to get the win, obviously we have to step up defensively. They're a really talented team. They got good players. The freshman Elijah Duvall is really, really explosive. I thought he looked like the best player on the floor against Arizona State. Really talented, really athletic. 8 of 14 from the field against a high major opponent in the first game of his career as a freshman is really impressive. The Jaden Farrell kid, transferred from Holy Cross, is a really talented offensive player. He's a mismatch problem at 6'9", and he can dribble, pass, and shoot. The Cale Barkley freshman kid had 4 offensive rebounds, not to mention Isaiah Cottrell. So, you loop in guys like Rock Lee, you loop in guys like Zach Bell. They're a really talented team. So our ability to kind of lock down defensively and limit them to one shot opportunity each possession is going to be key for us.
And Coach, you guys had your first game as essentially a brand new team. So what do you see from them as far as how they can play together, and how do you think that kind of affects their gameplay going forward?
Yeah, I think, we're no different. Baylor obviously is replacing their entire roster, so it's just the norm now in college basketball where roster turnover is at an all-time high. Roster rebuilding or constructing in the first place in the offseason isn't at an all-time high. So we're no different from anybody else, so we certainly cannot use that as an excuse, and our guys just have to continue to learn into the collective and revert back to our basic principles, our foundational principles that kind of make us us. And I think when we stray from that, when we get a little bit distracted from doing our job, that's when Baylor goes on runs, and you can't give really good teams like that the opportunity to go on runs. So we have to revert back to our training, revert back to our principles, and stay really solid in that.
And what players did you see have a great game against Baylor?
I was really pleased with our bench. I thought our guys came off the bench and weren't fazed by the moment. They weren't fazed by the caliber of competition or the environment. Guys like Zay Blake came in, played with a tremendous amount of confidence and energy on both ends of the floor. He did some really nice things defensively, obviously scored the basketball and made some plays for other people. Julian Gomez, a freshman, didn't play a tremendous amount of minutes, but in a small amount of time, he had a charge, he had a three-pointer, he got on the floor for a loose ball. Was really pleased, with his toughness, his mental toughness, and guys like that. We got a lot of guys that can score, right? We need some guys that can step in and do the game-winning stuff, the nasty stuff, and I thought Julian did a fantastic job of that. And I just think, the more that we see, always right, continue to play with confidence and do some things. He showed the ability to be a playmaker against good players, and Tunde Asefu's guarding him. He's going to be a lottery pick possibly, and for always to have a little bit of success as a playmaker was encouraging. Now we needed him to remain confident, remain empowered, and feel really good about what he's doing out there, so he could do it over the course of 40 minutes. So there were certainly some good individual performances. Now we have to put it together as a team for 40 minutes.
What has been the talk in the locker room? What have you seen from especially your returners, how bad they want it this season, and for a leadership role as well, how they've taken that on for this new team?
Yeah, I think whether it's returners, whether it's our new guys, I think everybody has shown and has vocalized the desire to be a very good team. You know, I think the competitive spirit in this team is really high. It's been so since June when everybody arrived on campus. Everybody's absolutely saying the right thing and have worked their behinds off to be really good players and for us to be a good group. You know, now can we maintain that when things are hard? Can we maintain that, you know, when we're playing 6 road games in our first 7? Can we maintain that if a team like Baylor goes on a 10-0 run, right? Like, can we remain leaders? Can we remain energetic and dialed into what we're supposed to be doing? So that's the real test of leadership and having a voice and having energy and things like that and saying all those right things. We have to live it, right? We have to live it when things are tough and when things are trying. So that's going to be the challenge for us moving forward.
Coach, you spend all offseason, you know, drawing it up on the chalkboard and telling your team the mindset that you want them to have. Game 1 comes around. Apart from the result, do you think this one went down how you thought it'd go down?
You know, no, and it's hard to say that in the sense that, like, you know, an opponent the caliber of Baylor, I mean, they're so talented, they're so well coached. It's a real environment. There's not a ton of people in that gym, but they've built it expertly where the stands go straight up, so they feel like they're straight up on top of you, and it's really loud. And for guys like Dan Christensen that's coming here from Gillette Junior College in Wyoming in Region 9, and Julian Gomez coming from La Mirada High School as a freshman, and Damaris Winters as a freshman, it can be a jarring experience. You know, this was Philip Bronkovich's first game ever in the United States in an official capacity, so it's a real experience. You know, it's a big time, you know, foray into college basketball, man. So I would have liked, with all that in mind, I would have liked for us to play with some more poise. I would have liked for us to play with some more toughness mentally and physically. And like I said earlier, like, for us to beat a team of that caliber, we have to win those margins. We have to win those spaces. It's not a situation where we can roll out the ball and out-talent those guys. You know, we have to win the want to. We have to win the physicality battle. And I expected a little bit more from us in that space, and that's obviously falls on me. I got to do a better job preparing us for that. And we will be doubling down on that moving forward.
So a tough opener, right? What do you gauge where you're at in conference play, because Baylor's not a conference opponent, right? And you're going to have the conference opponent soon enough, so kind of where do you gauge the teams at?
Yeah, you know, to be completely honest with you, it's a really good question, but that's just not on our mind right now. You know, the conference is very, very good. You know, you look at somebody like New Orleans that beat TCU. You know, you look at Stephen F. Austin, who had a tremendous off-season, not only in recruiting, but then playing in exhibitions and beating good people. And you go down the road, or go down the line. Nichols, I thought, looked really well prepared and good defensively against Kentucky last night. Corpus is going to be really good. Carter Word is really good. I mean, you can go on and on and on. I think it's the best the league has ever been by just about every metrics you can measure. And having said all that, like, that's out of our control right now. We don't play anybody like that in our conference yet. That's not, you know, we have some really tough games before we get to that point. I mean, we have to be 100% locked in on our own improvement, our preparation for Southern Utah, turn around and do the same thing again for Boise. We've got a very, very tough, challenging slate in these next few, and we got to be prepared and ready for that. You know what I'm saying? The conference tournament, the conference schedule, the conference opponents will come soon enough. We got 22 of those games, and that'll be its own unique challenge. But in the here and now, we got to be ready to be the best version of ourselves and beat Southern Utah.
So a few more games on the road before you finally come back. You know, how's it going to feel to come back onto the Valley?
I think it's great. You know, playing in front of our home fans and playing in front of our student section, which continues to grow, which continues to become more enthusiastic. You know, obviously the facility itself is top notch now with the atrium opening, and it feels a lot more complete. You know, what's going on in Vaquero Village in the pregame, I think, is really, really cool, and it's an unbelievable experience for our community, really, not just those fans that are here, but, you know, just seeing people come out there with the lights that are strung up, with the beer garden, with the food, and all that kind of stuff. I think that's a fun thing, right? I think that's a fun thing for the people that are a part of it. But for us as a basketball program, I mean, we're really trying to take on this moniker of being road warriors and owning that. You know what I mean? It's a real challenge. We're not changing. We can't change that. We're not going to run from that. We have to own the realities of us being on the road so much in this early part of the year, and get ready to go and do what it takes to win on the road and embrace that kind of a challenge.